Hello, and thank you for joining week 2 of the month of February. We just have 2 weeks to go, 2 more weeks, and then you're done with the month of February. Then you'd have kept a perfect streak. So don't get tired, and I'm sure you're going to be happy. That just excitement that comes from the fact that you set a goal for yourself and you kept it. By February 28th, in 2 weeks' time, you would be able to say, oh, you kept your devotional streak for the month of February. If this video is something you like to see, remember to like it, remember to share. If anything resonates with you, remember to leave a comment and also subscribe to the channel you're watching on YouTube or hit the follow button if you're watching through TikTok. Okay, let's get right into it. Throughout the month of February, we've been looking at who God is, the series Who God Is. Last week, we explored that God is merciful. And this week, we're going to be looking at God is kind or God is compassionate. And just like I've been doing, I'm going to be reading from the devotional material, which you're going to be getting in your mail on Monday by 8 a.m. If this is something you would also want to be a part of, click the description in the click the link in the video description, and I'm going to add you to my mailing list. Okay, so let's get right into it. You see, often when we describe God and His greatness, we mean well. And God indeed stands in a class of His own. He is all powerful and sovereign. Still, I must say that our praise or descriptions of God should exist within the boundaries of His kindness and compassion. This is what I mean. See, when people talk about God, when people want to describe who God is, they mean well, so they say things exactly how it is in their mind. You hear things like God is so powerful, God is mighty, God can do whatever He likes. God, those kind of descriptions that you come across in the Christian circle, and that's fine. However, we should always ensure that whatever description you give to God, however you decide to describe this mighty God, always stay within the boundaries of His kindness. Don't, no matter how you think or you want the world to see how big He is, don't ever do it at the extreme, at the expense of contradicting the fact that He's also kind. And that's what I meant by saying our praise or descriptions of God should exist within the boundaries of His kindness and compassion. Yes, God is all powerful, but God will not God would not behave like a maniac. I think that's what I'm trying to communicate. God will not just wake up one day and feel like, you know what, I'm in a bad mood. Wipe off all of Michigan. Wipe off the whole continent. That's not God. I know you've read some certain stories in the Bible that the way people have emphasized it, or you've not taken your time to properly understand it, makes you feel like, well, He can do that. Has He not done it before? Maybe you should take some time and read those stories again and understand. And so that's what I mean, that whatever way you describe God, make sure, especially Christians, people in Christian circles fall in this error. Make sure, however you describe God, you stay within the boundaries of His faithfulness, stay within the boundaries of His kindness and compassion. You see, God is not a tyrant. I say here, God is not a tyrant or a maniac who, because He is powerful, uses His power to cause harm simply for His pleasure. God is kind. God is kind. He has always been. And if you thought, well, you'll never know, Olamide, you're the one telling me I will never know if He's kind. I've never seen Him. Nobody has ever seen Him. Well, point of correction there. He once lived as a man. That's in the person of Jesus. So God came as a man and came in the person of Jesus, lived on the earth. And the Bible lets us know in the book of Colossians, it says that the full attributes of God, the full the definition of who God is was rested, was deposited, was shown through Christ Jesus. So in what Jesus did on in the world while He lived, you could have an understanding of who God is. And what was the thing Jesus did? Let's read this text of the Bible in Matthew chapter 8, verse 3. Matthew 8, verse 3. It says, Jesus reached out and touched him. I am willing, He said. Be healed, and instantly the leprosy disappeared. Backstory about this was there was a man who was leprous, And in that time, to be leprous meant to be ostracized. To be leprous meant nobody wanted to have anything to do with you. Not your family, not anybody. Nobody even wanted to touch you. From my understanding of how they did it then, as a matter of fact, there is like a jingle. If you're leprous, if you have that disease or that medical condition, there is like a jingle they tie to their legs, such that if a leprous person, a leper, is coming from afar, you begin to hear that jingle and everybody would run away. That's how it was at that time. But now you see a leper come to Jesus. Talking about, can you talk about inclusion? Talk about compassion. And the leper is talking to him. He gives him a hearing. Every other person would run away. And then the leper says, heal me. I want to be healed of this condition. I don't like myself in this condition. And guess what Jesus did? Jesus touched him. You might think, oh, what's the big deal? That's a very important part. There is not just, don't let that be lost while you read that text. Jesus touched him before he healed him. It says a lot about the compassion of who God is. It says a lot about his compassion, his kindness. Touch them, touch somebody nobody would want to touch. That shows you God is kind. God is kind. And we see that through how Jesus lived his life. You see, God in human form, who Jesus was so full of compassion that he reached out and touched a man with leprosy, even before healing him. That touch wasn't just a physical act. It was a profound demonstration of his kindness. So that's what I want you to know. This God who is all powerful, this God who you want to describe as he created the mountains, he established the mountains, he's the first, he's the last, he's the beginning, he's the end. He is power, he is kind. He is kind. Everybody loves a kind person. The emotions that emanate from you when you hear that somebody is kind, let that be the same way you view God. God is kind. When somebody says to you and say, you know what, I don't know, I think I just feel like when I wake up, God can just change his mind about me. Just smile and tell them, no, he's not going to do that. God is kind. And that's all for today. Remember, we're building a devotional playlist, a song playlist on YouTube, just based on our description of who God is to you. So click the description in the video to add your songs. I'm listening to everything. Thank you for those who added their songs last week. And I hope again to see you next week when we explore another characteristic of who God is, or another nature of who God is. Bye and see you. Thank you.